Well, hey everybody, John Rentlin here, and this is Unpopular Wrestling Opinion, episode 19. It concerns Kenny Omega's IWGP title reign. I didn't think it was very good. Now, before you guys start tweeting a whole bunch of hate comments, let me explain this. I've been a fan of Japanese wrestling, whether it, Americans in Japan or Japanese wrestlers just solely over there since the late 80s, early 90s, tape trading days, all that. And even into the times where there was still tape trading or DVD trading going on. And I wasn't able to watch Omega Okada, like the trilogy that they had in 2017, live. I came in watching from Wrestle Kingdom 12 on, so I got to catch Kenny Omega's last year in New Japan. I have since gone back and watched the trilogy he did with Okada, and it is a tremendous trilogy. And the match they had at Dominion last year was absolutely wonderful. It was a great 2 out of 3 falls match with no time limit, where Omega finally won. But the reason that I'm doing this video is I feel enough time has passed where we can look back on and admit that Kenny Omega winning the IWGP title had to happen. I mean, for all that he did in Japan, and yeah, all the comedy's divisive, all that stuff and everything. There are a lot of people that like what he does, hate what he does. I fall somewhere in the middle in his comedy. I think some of it's good. I think his performances in the ring are excellent. I think he has been able to get good 2 great matches out of some people you might have not guessed that he could. He is a consummate professional, even though he is goofy and does video game stuff and does a bit of goofiness and whatever. He's not for everybody. I don't know if he's the greatest professional athlete out there, but I can appreciate a ton of shit that he's done. And again, going back to his stuff with Okada, that 2017 trilogy, that was great, at Wrestle Kingdom, and then Dominion, and then Omega finally beating him, but the title not being on the line, a bit after that. That was great. Kenny Omega becoming U.S. champion. There was a big build around Omega finally beating Okada. Like, oh, it's got to happen. Didn't happen at Wrestle Kingdom 11. It didn't happen at Dominion. And, Dominion in 2017, and even though Omega won the U.S. title, he was the first ever IWGP U.S. champion. The question was, okay, what was going to happen? Who was going to dethrone Okada? So, taking us on a journey and everything and going through some of the stuff, you look at what Omega's done. Now, from the time he joined the Bullet Club, which I thought was pretty damn cool, looking back on that was pretty awesome. It was a way to get AJ out of the group, have Omega in there, and it was some really good stuff, and Omega got to be a good heel. But the thing is Omega had immersed himself in the Japanese culture and in New Japan, and had grown had grown with so many people. Many people had watched him grow up before their very eyes, from his time as a young lion, from his time of, working really well, working with Kota Ibushi, working against Kota Ibushi. Him and Kota Ibushi finally reuniting a new beginning of Sapporo Night 2 last year. But from his time as U.S. champion, he had some good matches. I was able to go back and watch a few of them. And then his match with Chris Jericho, Wrestle Kingdom 12, that was actually the match that got me to decide to order New Japan World, where I was like, I kept hearing about it. You know what, fuck it, I'm going to make the time to watch and review New Japan. I'm so happy I did, and I'm happy, for all the new fans and new people that I've been able to talk to. Thank you to all the fellow wrestling fans that have appreciated my New Japan content. From there, he beat Chris Jericho. He lost it to Jay White, New Beginning in Sapporo Night 2, as I said. And then him and Kota Ibushi reunited, because you had the whole thing happen with Cody and, the split, Cody being, the heel and everything, trying to take out Omega. Omega and Ibushi reunite, the Golden Lovers reunite, have one of my favorite matches of the year against the Young Bucks, the Strong Style Evolved. But the question was what was going to happen with Omega? Because it seemed like he was kind of directionless for a bit, and yet Okada beat, Tetsuya Naito at Wrestle Kingdom 12. He beat Sonata he beat him at the February one of, New Beginning in Osaka. I apologize for forgetting that. Some of those events kind of run together for me because there's so many in Osaka, all this and that, but that was actually a great match. And then Okada beat Zack Sabre Jr. And then, you do the Strong Style Evolved match, as I just mentioned. So it seems like, where are they going with Omega? Where are they going with him? People wanted to see him win the title. And then Okada beat Tanahashi and Wrestling Dontaku to eclipse Tanahashi's number of successful title defenses. So there's really nothing left for Okada to do except he beat Omega once, they tied, and then Omega beat him. but the title wasn't on the line. 1-1-1. That isn't how it can end. And Okada even said, okay, hey, let's face off again. Omega says, and he says in Japanese, obviously it had to be translated because I don't speak Japanese. I barely speak English if any of you watch my videos. But he says 2 out of 3 falls. No time limit. Let's do that. And that's what happened. So it was a big build and everything. It was going to happen at Dominion in Osaka, and I was excited for it. And that was a hell of an event. I did a review for that. It was oddly, until the G1 Supercard review, it was actually my most viewed New Japan themed show. And I know that Ring of Honor and New Japan did the co-branding thing for the G1 Supercard, but the whole point is, as far as any show that has Japanese, New Japan talent on it, Dominion in Osaka was the one that did the most views. And the big reason is that big main event of, Okada and Omega. And it was a hell of a match. And I'm going somewhere with this, but I'm trying to lay the groundwork just in case some people maybe forget about just how we got to this point. And there are other people that, were able to watch a lot of it live well before me. They could probably do even more informed stuff, but this is just my opinion. Omega and Okada, hell of a match. Omega split the falls, and then Omega finally beats him, hitting the one-wing angel. 1, 2, 3. He holds the title aloft. He is the champion. He is the guy. He has finally done it. He has finally beaten Okada when it mattered. And it wasn't that it didn't matter in 2017. I'm not trying to imply that. But he beat him finally. He couldn't beat him in Wrestle Kingdom in the tie and the year before at Dominion. And he finally beat him. It was this big celebration, and it was great. It was great to see it. Okada was, wiped out. Clearly, Omega was. It was like a 65-minute match. It was a thing of beauty. There were people that said, it went on a little bit long, but if you're going to do no time limits, and their Wrestle Kingdom match went so goddamn long, and their Dominion match went so goddamn long, and went to the time limit draw, you have to do it this way, and you had to do it this way. So, Omega goes off. He's champion. Big celebration and all that. And he was right up here. And by God, if his title reign didn't hit the fucking floor. Now, I'm not faulting Omega's performances. I will not fault that. He delivered some top-tier performances against a variety of opponents. But let's take a look at his title reign and see where it went wrong. He faced Cody, kind of bridging the whole thing with Cody about how Cody had, attacked him at New Beginning in Sapporo, and they'd had this rift going on, since, this uneasy alliance since Cody had gotten himself in the Bullet Club and all that, and the Bullet Club Elite and all that, and the fractured splintering of the groups. And I wish nothing but the best, by the way, for the Elite. Cody, Omega, the Bucks, Hangman Page, Skrull will probably join them at some point, maybe by the time I've already recorded this video. But the whole point is, I wish nothing but the best for these guys, and I was happy to see Omega and Cody have a match, and and they had a really good match at the G1 special at the Cow Palace in San Francisco. Hell of a superplex off the ladder. There were some great moments. That was actually not a bad way to do it. But then, you had the Guerrillas of Destiny and Haku. And they attacked. They attacked Cody and Omega and the other members and stuff like that. It was a way to get Bullet Club back to, its OG form and stuff like that, and split off the Elite members and have them be the Elite. So Cody was then a pseudo baby face, kind of, not really, but since the Guerrillas of Destiny were like all big heels after that event, okay, so Cody's going to be, this, he's going to be the heel here. So from there, Omega is going to enter the G1 as the champion. And what was nice about this is, okay, how many was he going to run through? Was he going to be able to run through the whole field? Now, you could argue that maybe he beat a couple people that maybe needed the win more, but once he started losing, he lost to Tomohiro Ishii, a great match that led to a great match, for the title on the Destruction Tour. That's how things work in Japan. If you beat a champion, if you pin a champion in a tag match, or even in a tournament like that, especially if it's in the G1, you can get, or, like in the New Japan Cup, they did with Chase Owens and Juice Robinson, you can have somebody, or you can get a shot at somebody's title. So Omega beat Cody. Didn't have a title match after that. He just wrestled a bunch in the G1 and did really well. Do not get me wrong. He delivered some really good performances against Naito, against Ibushi, against Ishii. There were others, but those are the three that stick out in my mind. And it was really good stuff. Now, Omega did not end up winning. He ended up getting close, but then he faced Ishii on the Destruction Tour. That was a good match. And then you had, I believe, if I remember right, I think was it Fighting Spirit Unleashed? No. Maybe it was Fighting Spirit Unleashed. I think it was the US show, where at the end you had Ibushi, Cody, and Omega, and they all decided to get in a three-way match. Omega was going to face Ibushi, but then Cody kind of slotted himself in there. So it's two of Omega's friends. They face off, I believe, King of Pro Wrestling. That was a good match. I can't say it was great. Maybe my expectations were just too high. But from there, then Omega hadn't really been on, around all that much. And it was because he was on Jericho's cruise. Now, okay, it is what it is. I mean, I didn't necessarily agree with them giving him the title and then him going on that cruise. And it was big business. Apparently, a lot of people really did enjoy it, people that were on the cruise, and that's great if you did. But that's where my opinion started to sour a little bit on him. Now, maybe Omega was just trying to play up the heel role, all that. Tanahashi had won the G1, so he was going to be able to face Omega at Wrestle Kingdom 13. And the idea was maybe Tanahashi wouldn't be able to defend his crown against, like his title shot against Okada and Jay White. He couldn't beat Okada in the time limit draw, and he lost to Jay White in the G1. So you're building up all the story and everything, but meanwhile, he had, Omega had matches against Cody, against Ishii. I mean, great matches in G1, but I'm talking title matches against Ishii, and then against Cody and Ibushi at King of Pro Wrestling. And then after that, he's on the Jericho cruise, he's on all this kind of stuff. He's still making appearances, but the title almost seems to be an afterthought. And that's where my opinion started to sour a little bit on. And just about the title reign. Because he had the title for almost 7 goddamn months. And realistically, I've given you about all the height. There was, the match he had with Tanahashi, which was a good match. It was a good match, but Tanahashi beating Omega really did surprise me. Omega did, I think it was like a Undertale type, theme that they had to do for like an entrance video where Tanahashi was the final boss. Could he beat him? And he couldn't. Tanahashi beat him. The Old Guard, the Ace, beat Omega. That was Omega's last appearance in New Japan. The unpopular opinion that I have with this, though, is that title reign ended with a whimper. Now, I got nothing against Tanahashi. I love Tanahashi. Him beating Omega did not bother me, but I gave you this history to give you my general consensus. Omega's title reign generally was a flop. It was a flop. He got the title. People wanted to see him win it. But the problem is once he won it, I realized, and so many others realized, and so many that had followed Omega's career for years, and maybe I'm on an island here with this, and maybe some of you guys will agree. Many wanted to see Omega chase the title. Omega was better in chase mode. Once he won the title, what the fuck do you do then? He wrestled all his friends, this kind of stuff. And don't get me wrong, Coda and various other, that Coda-Cody match, that's really hard to say, with Omega, that was good stuff. That match with Ishii was really good. Their match in the G1 was better. And I don't think anybody would dispute that. Ishii is an MVP. One of him and Goto were like the MVPs of 2018. Maybe him and Suzuki and Goto. So actually there are 3 guys right there that are over 40. And, well, in Suzuki's case, over 50. And delivering some goddamn great performances. Omega was better. It was almost kind of like Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes didn't need... And I'm not saying that Dusty Rhodes and Omega are equal. I'm not saying that. Dusty Rhodes winning the NWA title, once he won it, he didn't need to hold it that long. He was always better in chase mode. Some baby faces are better in chase mode, and that's the thing about Omega. He was better in chase mode than he was once he won the title. Because he held it for about almost 7 months, and I can't tell you all that much memorable. I mean, I gave you basically all the memorable stuff. The Jericho Cruise stuff and the fact he wasn't on some of the shows kind of soured me on him. Now, I know he did have a leg injury. I believe he had a crack in his shin or something. I don't quite remember. So giving him some time off was understandable. But then it just seemed like before that, there wasn't as much pop once he won the title. It was like, great, he won the title. And the enthusiasm seemed to slowly die down. Now, maybe that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe I'm going to get a ton of hate in the comments. I am not saying that Kenny Omega was a bad IWGP heavyweight champion. Not one bit. Just not going to say he was a great one. I'm not even going to say he was a good one. I'm going to say he was a decent one. Don't get me wrong, he's not one of the worst IWGP champions ever. Hello, Brock Lesnar, you piece of shit, shitting on that title. Not that Brock will ever see this, and not that Brock couldn't, F5 me and break me and F5 my house. But Kenny Omega was always better in chase mode. He was always meant to be the guy going for the title, but maybe not winning it. Now, will that change in All Elite Wrestling? Who knows? I mean, as of right now, All Elite Wrestling may have a TV deal at some point. I'm recording this well before any TV deal is announced, even though there have been rumblings that they're going to get a deal on TBS or TNT, and that's great. But I can't say that I was all in on, not pardon the pun, but Omega being champion. He's a great wrestler. He is a great entertainer, whether you like his antics or not. But as a champion, I gotta say, he was just a decent IWGP champion. He wasn't really all that good. Great when he won it. Everything else was kind of not that good. But that's all I gotta say. That's my unpopular wrestling opinion. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I will see you soon.